Artuz and Apameh by Waranavich. She was as lovely and gentle as her name, like the mist that passes over the shoulders of mountaineers, light and calm, yet aware of the presence of every stone and shadow, every wound and whisper. Her voice was being played amidst the rustle of fallen autumn leaves, and her enchanting song danced to the tune of every strange shepherd's reed. She mourned in the silent, nightly weeping of a grandmother, and even in the wet wound of the words of a forgotten poem, the pain of its poet wails. The fifth chapter of her life story was a sad symphony. The spirit of spring saw clearly how she was the companion of her restless heart, and how no autumn could wither the green plant of her infatuation. A cry rose from the stone and a song from the cliffs, but in the earthy solitude of her mind, a bright hope grew in the morning, making her sunny face rosy. Her name was Apameh. She possessed neither gold nor jewels, nor did she wear garments of luxury. She had been born at the foot of the mountains, cradled by the seasons and nurtured in the lap of verdant valleys. In her eyes slumbered the pride of panthers, and in her words resided the majesty of eagles soaring from lofty peaks. All this in an age when the meaning of being a woman was silence and stillness. Her voice was melodious. Even from afar it would steal hearts. On moonlit nights, shepherds would gather in the valleys to listen to her dreamlike singing. Each day she bloomed anew, like a rare and matchless flower. Her eyes harbored the secrets of the mountains, and every motion of hers, like a gentle breeze, would sweep over the green, dew-laced slopes at dawn. Amidst all that natural splendor, Apameh was undoubtedly unparalleled. So much so that hearts across the land ached for her elusive embrace. Among the men of that area, the village lord's son did not have the biggest or strongest heart, but perhaps he had the most passionate one. A heart drowned in the lake of Apameh's eyes, leaving him restless and impatient. But Apameh's heart was no longer hers. She had already given it to a young fisherman, who, on a sunny day beneath the purple tree, had invited her to a humble meal and stolen her heart. A strong, blue-eyed man, with a gaze that captivated souls. The two had fallen deeply in love, and would meet from time to time beneath that same purple tree, resting their heads upon the shoulders of hope, so that perhaps their dreams for tomorrow will come true. Yes, Apameh had fallen in love with Artuz. He was a man who had shared her life in the harsh, stony mountains, fishing each day in the river that coursed through the bottom of the valley, enduring a life of toil. Yet he was noble and kind-hearted, his soul attuned to the voice of the mountains and the wind, never bowing to hardship, nor halting at obstacle. The fire of their love grew stronger with each passing day, a love that in a world of suffering and sorrow gleamed like a beacon in the heart of darkness. And alas, neither could foresee what storms lay ahead, nor what cruel games fate had devised for those restless lovers. The tragedy began when whispers of Artuz and Apameh's love swept through the village. Upon hearing them, the Lord, wielding his wealth and power, resolved to cast Artuz aside, that he might marry Apameh to his own son. And so, he falsely reported to the local gendarmerie that Artuz was a military deserter. 2 days later, the military police came to the village and, unbeknownst to Apameh, seized Artuz. The Lord then spread word that the fisherman had drowned in the river. Days passed. Each morning, Apameh would go to the purple tree. She would pick the lush flowers from the tree and take them with her to the bottom of the valley where the river was raging. She would throw the flowers into the river with tears and sighs, and then she would say to the clear, flowing water, "Where have you taken my poor lover? Did you grant him a chance to bid me farewell? Why do you not return his body so I may speak to him one last time?" And she would weep bitterly. The wind would carry the mountain's silent mourning, and the sun, its face heavy with sorrow, would veil itself behind dark clouds, and the sky would turn grey. Months passed, Through threats and intimidation, the Lord coerced Apameh's relatives into consenting to a marriage between her and his son. It was decided that Apameh would be mounted on a horse and, accompanied by her kin and the Lord's servants, taken to the town for the wedding. The appointed day arrived. The bridal caravan, adorned in ceremony, set off toward the town. The journey spanned half a day. In the middle of the road was a large wooden bridge that had been built over the river at the bottom of the valley. When the caravan reached the bridge, Apameh halted in its center. She dismounted, walked to the rope railing, gazed at the raging river below, and with a trembling voice spoke. "O flowing river, with a pure heart, I have nothing to lose except this frail, dead-hearted body, that they want to make it a bride. Behold, I have suffered so deeply that my shadow now wears more beauty than I. If I sing you a sorrowful song, one that stirs your fury, will you carry me to my beloved?" Then, turning to the stunned procession, she sang aloud, "The water's heart was taken by my beloved. The river's heart was taken by my beloved. When the river water fell in love with my beloved, therefore the river water has taken my sweetheart. O river, take me to where you have taken my Artuz." Suddenly a voice called out from afar, "Apameh! Apameh!" It was Artuz's voice, but it was too late. Apameh had already cast herself from the bridge into the river. Shouts rose from the crowd. The Lord's men rushed to the railing. Artuz, having seen only Apameh by the edge, unaware of the caravan or its purpose, raced to her side and leapt after her into the river water. The roaring river embraced them both and, dancing, bore them away to faraway lands. The grieving relatives returned to the village in despair, and the Lord's servants went to the town to deliver the tragic news. The mountain village fell into mourning. Though it was early spring, the trees refused to blossom, and the purple tree, their secret meeting place, shed its flowers and cast off its spring robes. No longer did the shepherds hear Apameh's haunting voice on moonlit nights, and the morning breeze no longer caressed the green plants at the foothills. Years passed. The landlord's son married a girl from town and settled in a nearby city. He became deputy head of a government office and would at times travel for official duties. His wife, often left alone, would pass time shopping in the city's bustling bazaar. One day, as she shopped, she noticed a crowd gathered before a small shop, busily purchasing goods. She drew closer but found the throng too dense to penetrate. As she turned to leave, someone tapped her shoulder. "Please, what do you need? I can bring it for you." She turned and asked, "Are you the owner here?" "Yes," the man replied. "Please come inside. I'm at your service." He parted the crowd and ushered her in. Inside, he called for tea to be brought. Moments later, a slender woman with long braided hair entered, carrying a tray of tea and placing it before her. The man smiled and said, "We sell fresh fish here. She is my wife, Apameh, and I am Artuz. Now tell me, dear lady, what kind of fish may I pack for you?"